Assalamualaikum.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Let's see if we get this camera on. We got the camera on. Yay! Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited. Peaceful, blessed New Year. Peaceful, blessed New Year. We made it. We made it, y'all. I'm so excited. Everybody. As y'all can tell, I've been waiting all day for this. I'm so excited. I miss y'all so much. Oh my goodness. I can't remember the last sister circle that we've had. So it's been a while. It's been a while. So just so everybody know, a little later on, I'll send an email out asking a question about whether Sunday evening, what did I say? Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon is best for everyone as it relates to the sister circle. So we'll only have it once a month, the first weekend of every month. So um, whatever most of the people are saying, that's what we'll end up going with, but no worries. If you register for it, you'll get the replay, even if you are not able to go live. I want to see y'all. Let's see. So I do know this is Sunday evening. Everybody is kind of unwinding. But if you can turn your camera on, turn your camera on. If not, walaikum salam. I'm so happy to see everybody. Sister Maria, Patricia, Christine, Ada, Pamela, Stacy. Let's see who else I got. That's all I can see in my screen right here. Well, awesome, awesome, awesome. So before we get started, we'll go ahead and just get settled, and we'll tap into ourselves, our inner feminine energy, and just prepare everybody to just be here and to be connected with one another. So if you could take your left hand and put it over your heart, and put your right hand over your left. Close your eyes and just take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Deep breath in. Good job. Let's just have a couple more of those. Deep breath in. Awesome. 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 Well, welcome everybody. I'm so happy again that you are able to tune in with us. Before, and I apologize about that, that's my grandbaby calling me. I have to call my grandbaby back later. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I am in straight like grandma mode, and I'm just over the moon and just lose myself, okay? But I am not gonna answer this FaceTime from this baby at this moment. I'm gonna wait till we finish. So again, so excited that you all are here. I wanna start before I got something for you all. I got something really good for you all that I'm going to share in just a moment. But before we get into that, were there any like questions or concerns, anything that you all wanted to kind of dive into or to talk about or ask me about before we get into it? No, everybody's good. Everybody's good. Oh, well, that is surprising. I know for me, I was like, good Lord, 2021, Father, Father God. And the Christians say, Father God, I think you got your servant confused. You surely got me confused. You think I'm one of the real strong ones that you had like back in the day that was not tainted and raised in the hills of North America. You must think that you forgot. That's where you raised me up. And so I know for me, and a lot of women, as you all know, I'm a spiritual reader. So the most of my business comes from readings. So even though, you know, I do spiritual counseling and I'm also a spiritual empowerment coach, a lot of my time and a lot of my energy is in other people's energy. So even when I'm not physically doing a reading, I'm doing a reading before the reading, during the reading, and then after the reading. So I know I had a lot of things that shift for me this year as it relates to a whole bunch of stuff. And we're going to get into it a little bit because I have something for you all. So let's do this. Let me pull it up. Now, y'all, I am not tech savvy at all. So I'm hoping that I can actually pull it up and don't lose nobody. So hold on. Let's see. Okay. now let me to share my screen. Okay. So can you all see my screen? You can't see my screen.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is what I have for you all, and everyone who registered, I'm going to send it out to you. But I thought that it would be good for us to kind of really take some time to go over what has happened this past year. I'll call it a year-end review. And what I usually do is really go through and see what worked, what didn't work for me. And this is something that I do personally, something that I do in my business. And I learned a lot about myself this year. I really did. You know, as I'm always telling you all, if you've been to a sister circle or you've done womb care with me, I tell you, it's a process. It's a process. Any type of healing that you go through is a process. And sometimes when you think that, oh, I got that part, like that's done, I'm moving on to the next thing. And then you get this thing that comes up and you're like, excuse me? Like we healed that already. You know, it comes in layers, right? So what did I learn for this year? And I'm going to give anybody an opportunity who would like to share with the group about what they learned. But I know for me, it was really interesting. I had a lot of shifts as it relates to people that I don't want to say close to, but that I had a relationship um, before the pandemic, um, during the pandemic, up into this last year. And so I've had some things to kind of shift around a little bit and really processing how I felt about those relationships kind of not really going bitter, not that anything, you know, happened that was dramatic or anything like that, but it was more than one, right? And in the beginning, I realized when I wanted that relationship back, I noticed I was making a lot of decisions based on my relationships, uh, which is an old pattern for me, a pattern that was in my very young adulthood. So anybody who knows my story, I always am the black sheep of the family. But my mother remarried when I was very, very young off. So I think like 2 years old. So I was the child that was in with this other family, but I wasn't really a part of that family. So as a child, the desire always to fit in and to have another person there with me. Um, Codependency, really. I mean, to be honest with you, this is what it was. So I found myself having a difficult time making decisions on my own without another person being there to either influence my decision or to say, yes, I agree with you. Like I needed that. And I didn't realize that I needed it until it was gone. And so then I was like, wait, Allison, you do realize you're a grown woman, right? Like what is happening with you right now? And that's when it dawned on me. I was like, wow, this is another level of my um, codependent behavior. And so I had to check it. Once I realized it, I had to really talk to the little girl within. And I always talk to us about talking to the little girl within, the one who truly wants that attention and validation and somebody to say, okay, you did a good job. And, you know, but a grown woman, you know, really stepping into her power does not need that. You know, the relationships are reciprocal, they are equal. in one way or another, right? I may have a strong point and you may not be strong in that point, but you may be strong in another point. So, and that's how the relationships are based. So that was something that I learned about myself this year in the way that I was handling things. And when things didn't go my way, uh, well, this may be a second issue, and then I'm going to open it up to see if you all want to share because I really can't see everybody because of the screen that I'm in right now. So you all can unmute yourselves, or I can't even see the, hold on a second. Yeah, I can't even see the chat from the screen that I'm in right now. Um, and the other thing that I noticed, well, two more, but I'll just share this last one and then I'll open up for someone else. And this one was more, hmm, this one, I first noticed it with my husband, but when I dig deep, I noticed I was doing it in some other areas too, which I'm always talking about unconditional love, right? And things started coming up, and I realized in some areas in my life, my love was very conditional, very conditional. I'm telling you, I learned a lot about myself this year when you take away all these things that we have access to. And you just have to deal with yourself, what's going on with you and how you're handling life. And I saw the way that I would really kind of pout and withdraw whenever I didn't get my way. Um, and I'm so grateful that God showed that to me because it wasn't just my husband, I was doing it with my children. And even though, um, to be honest, with other adults in my own little Libra way, if there's any Libras on the line, you know what I'm talking about, how we do. And so, yeah, those are some of the things that I learned about myself. And we're going to kind of go into why some of those things happen. And I know for me, it was a deficit, or I felt a deficit over an extended period of time. You know what I mean? So, not giving love, not giving or allowing myself to receive and having that self care like I should have. And then you let that go and go and go. And then at the end of the day, you start resenting the position that you put yourself in. So those are one of the things that was behavior that needed to be healed. And that's something that I learned about myself this year. And it was kind of like a hard truth to kind of deal with. But when I was able to deal with it and just confront, oh, this is what it is. And this is how you're acting, and now make a decision about that, is if this is the way that you want to continue to show up or not. So does anybody else, either you want to comment on that, or you have something that you would like to share, something that you learned this year? And it could be about anything. It could be business, personal, um, anything.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Um, I learned that I should go forward with the ideas that I have had in my mind. For instance, business ideas that I had. Um, I just didn't step out on some, and I'm thinking like maybe because I knew someone that was doing some of the same things that I wanted to do, and I didn't want to offend them. Um, but someone came to me and they were like, well, a relative came to me and he was like, no, go ahead and do it, as well as yourself, Sister Allison, because he's in a pressure washer business. And he's like, he said, I teach people how to do it. He said, it doesn't bother me. He said, because I can have 100 houses over here that I'm pressure washing someone else's have 100 over here. He's like, how many houses is it in the world? So he was like, so don't worry about that. He said, what's for you is for you. So I had to learn to step out on that, as well as take the initiative to say, I want to be a business owner, and step out and like do the steps it take to even begin my journey as a small business owner.
Yeah,
And,
love
and
that.
I, yes, ma'am.
Love that. What do you think? Have you thought about the root cause of why you really would not do it because someone else was doing it?
Because I didn't want to offend others. That's one thing. And even though I like what I do, I was just like doing it in a small circle of people, like just with a few family members or whatever. Until I talked to you, you was like, "What? I'm about to hang up on you." So I just stepped out and started like doing the steps of getting the business. But I think it was because I didn't want to offend people or
Mhm.
offend certain people or whatever that was kind of doing some of the same things that I'm doing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else would like to share?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
This is Sister
salam.
Ada. I learned a couple things in 2021. It was really interesting year for me. For myself, I just kind of made a list as I saw the question. I learned, well, I started and completed tasks even through doubt and fear.
Mm,
And I learned to deal and overcome my triggers because I learned to let go of control and just let things go, flow, and keep it moving. And then I also learned to live in my own truth and be able to speak out loud because I feel like that was a major problem for me. I felt like I was stuck in some things and I wouldn't be able to speak even when I wanted to speak. So
mhm.
that's something that I'm learning. Like I'm still in the process of it, but I've learned to come out of my shell a little bit more in 2021.
Good. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, what one of the things, like I was telling Sister Maria, to go ahead and do it. And the reason I was confident in that is because I had done that walk before. Like I had been in your shoes before. So, and it stemmed all for me, the root cause was back in childhood. Um, I remember as a child, even to myself, I had so much light. Like, I don't know if other people think that way about themselves, but I noticed that I was so filled with light and I was so, seemed to be very, very different from most of the people that were around me that were adults. And so, after a while of having this message of, like, you are too smart for your own good. Like, why you got to be so loud? Why you got to be so expressive? Why you got to be so much? Right. So after a while of having someone say that to you, then, and you're already trying to fit in, right? Then you kind of dim your light. Then you sit back and you're like, okay, I don't want to offend anyone. I just want people to like me. I just want to fit in, right? I wouldn't dare have anyone to step up to say, who do you think you are? So let me just not think that I'm anybody. And a lot of us have that issue, and it takes a while, Sister Ada, for us to step up and finally find a voice. And we're like, oh, wow, I have a voice. This is, this is interesting to me. And I tell everybody now in these sister circles, I am very transparent. And I'm very transparent because I know that it offers healing for someone else. I do not
Mhm.
have it 100% all the way together. And I say this even as a spiritual being, if any of us had it all together, we wouldn't be on this planet. Like we would have evolved, we wouldn't be here. So we all still have something to learn, something that we are overcoming. I got one thing, you all, that I have not overcome yet, but it doesn't, I'm sure it's more than one thing, but I'm going to give you an example of something that I have not overcome yet, and that is the sound of my own voice. Now, I know where it comes from, something very little about my Southern draws and the way that I speak, and um, because of really my assignment. Most people that hear me is like, oh my goodness, you have the most calming voice. You just, you should do, people tell me all the time, you should have a meditation app. Like you should, that's my natural way of being. But when I'm speaking, because of all the messages I've had about my voice, I can't hear it. So for example, I have done hundreds, and I do mean hundreds. I've done hundreds of Zooms and podcasts and Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives. And do you know, I have not listened to one of them? I know, shocking, right? I have not listened to one of them because it would require me to hear myself talk.
Mm.
And so I'm saying that to say, hopefully, to encourage someone, it doesn't matter where you are right now. I just keep moving. It doesn't stop me from speaking. It doesn't stop me from going back to hear myself uh, speaking. Right? So this thing of, because a lot of us suffer from imposter syndrome. We have this thing really bad about not moving forward because we feel like we are not enough. We don't know enough. Who would listen to us? Who am I to step forward and share my gift with the world? You are everything. You are everything. If you have learned A through G, then surely you could teach somebody that's at C, right? Because they don't know D, E, F, G. And you could teach them that. So this whole thing about imposter syndrome really is ridiculous, but a lot of us have it. And a lot of it, I did an Instagram live on this, is it comes from comparing in this whole thing that we do with competition. Because if you feel like you don't know enough, based on who? Like who are you
Mhm.
comparing it to that you don't know enough? So you know plenty, we know plenty. We just have to keep moving and keep going forward so we can evolve. So those are one of the things. And I gave you what I learned this year about myself. But even with that, it's a blessing because God is continuously evolving us and taking us further and further and further. I tell everybody, this is God's school. Especially, and I know I have a Christian family on here as well, and I don't know what type of church that you go to, but I know the mosque, if you're going to the mosque, it's a constant development, constant, right? Just when you think you've gotten to this is God right here, right? Then you get another challenge that comes up on you to make you shine even more. It's like, no, this diamond is brighter than what you thought, right? So the God puts you back in that washing machine, right? And you're in the rotors and you get knocked around and you're getting polished and you're getting mended and molded and turned this way and bent. I tell you, a lot of times I'd be like, Lord, I'm not the one. Maybe you got me confused with somebody else. Clearly, I'm not the servant you thought I was. So, this is something that we have to know. Whenever you've been chosen to have a particular assignment, you have to be the A student. And in order for you to be the A student, you got to learn lessons. And they got to be specific to you, right? Your family, what happened to you, what you went through. Then you have to master those things, right? So that is, I can use my, yeah. All right, my accomplishments. What did we accomplish this year? Anybody? I know for a lot of us, it's easier to kind of come up with what we didn't get right. That comes to the top of our head. We're like, yeah, this is how I messed up. Let me tell you about it. But when you say accomplishments, it takes us a little bit longer, right? So anybody want to share their
I do.
accomplishment? Okay.
Um, I accomplished, I finished, I think it was 4 or 5 Dianetics courses or the Scientology courses. I finished my level 1 herbalism class, and I established a business. um and all that not all that, but a lot that comes with it. So those are some of the things that I accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did a lot of moving this year. I'm so proud of you.
Praise be
Yeah,
to,
we
yes,
take
ma'am.
time to celebrate you. You were amazing. And I look
Praise,
forward to what you'll accomplish for 2022.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. Woohoo! Congratulations on all that. I'm sorry for the screaming outside. So I'm like,
Wow, alaikum salam.
I just want to tell you, first of all, every time I come around you, talk to you, you always read me. The entire, everything you described about yourself and what you went through, that was me. It still is. I'm still, working on getting my voice. My accomplishment for this year was, praise be to Allah, the tuning forks class with you, beloved Sister Allison. Yay!
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. I learned some lessons. I buried my mother and my brother this year, but the lessons I learned was, how to completely let go of attachments and dwell in Allah. Um, just make him sufficient because the pain was too great for me to do anything else. So, but that was an accomplishment for me. Um, and so I'm just enjoying learning the tuning forks. Um, and I'm hopefully gonna start a business with that.
Oh, that's
Well, I'm
awesome.
planning on doing that. So yeah,
That
yes,
is
ma'am.
amazing. That
That
is
was my
amazing.
accomplishment.
Wow. And definitely, may Allah ease your pain with that. A lot of us have experienced a lot of loss for this past year. And really taking the time, which is why I started back the Sister Circle, because a lot of people were starting to experience anxiety, a lot of anxiety, a lot. And really the nervous system being all out of whack and all of that. And so I wanted to have a platform for the mothers of civilization to just take a breather and to express whatever it is that they needed to express and release whatever it is that we wanted to release, so we could have the energy to really step into our power and vibrate at a very high frequency, because that is what the planet requires at this time. So we have this divine connection to the earth. And if you like study the chakra systems, you know that your upper chakras are attuned to, of course, the universe with it, which is electrical, and your bottom chakras are attuned to the planet, which is magnetic. So you get that electricity and that magnetic field, and of course, it's supposed to work in harmony with each other. And just like the trees have this system that's within their roots, right, where everything is interconnected, this is how the woman is interconnected with the entire planet. So when her nervous system is off, the entire planet just kind of goes offline and goes haywire. So I always say, if when you talk about good deeds in charity, if you can find a woman to heal and influence at least once a week, you have done something really massive for the entire planet. Um, and so I'm excited about us getting together, really taking the time to, like I said, to release and let go of things so we can offer that to the women that's not on this line right now, hold space for her so she can do the same. Sister Maria, did you mean to raise your hand?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
ma'am. I forgot to tell y'all that I also accomplished completed a homeschooling success class, which means I can go to a co-op and teach homeschool or out of my home, or I can just start classes and just do a homeschool, and I will be in charge of it. That, as well as I got my Reiki Master certificate.
Yeah,
Yay.
love that. Love that. I know so many healers. And I don't know why. I'm gonna start calling some of y'all when I start filling off. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We got a lot of healers in
My
this sister
my
group.
next
Let me
step,
call somebody.
the next thing I want to accomplish is sound healing.
Okay.
Oh
Yes.
yes, that's beautiful.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sister Ada.
Yeah, so I raised my hand because I was very excited about 2021. I mean, I know we were still dealing with COVID and everything. There was a lot of loss and a lot of pain still in my year, but I did accomplish some things. I was really excited. I started some sister circles, in-person sister circles that last year, some marriage and relationship workshops. My husband and I are opening a business, so we're almost there. We're trying to get through these permits that is kind of trying to teach people how to mindfully eat through the chakra systems.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I finished the womb detox. Yes. And I worked a lot with the relationship with the females in my life, like my mother, my sister, my daughters, because I have all females children. And I really, really emphasize like disciplining my thoughts and my eating habits and just kind of like detoxing from the inside out.
Yes.
So I really had an exciting year, and I'm hoping that, praise be to Allah, it continues for 2022.
Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, you have had a lot. You have had
Yes,
a lot. Congratulations.
thank you.
Wow. I love it when the husband and wife team does it together. How has that been? Is he just one of those people? Is he like you in that way?
He's a little different. He's a little bit more like, okay, we gotta do this, and this. And I'm like more of like the creative, like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's take our time, sprinkles and glitter and stuff like that. But I think through our because we went through a lot. We've been together for like 20 years. So through our obstacles and overcoming those things, it has helped us come together to work together to finally do something together. So now we have more communication, so it's easier. But I think if we would have tried to do it maybe 6-7 years ago, it would have been tough because we're
Wow.
complete opposites. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
love that. I love to see that. I'll tell you, my husband and I are the total opposites as well. He's a very analytical person, right? So this whole thing about spirituality, all that, he doesn't get it. But I always think it's so interesting. I hear him referring people to me, and I'll be like,
Mhm.
what? Is he referring people to me? He refers people to me and he'll tell you straight up, I have no clue how she does what she does. I don't, it be working, but I don't know. And he doesn't care that it works. He was like, it be working, but I don't get into all of that.
Oh, my husband is like that too. I'm like, listen, I spoke to Sister Allison, and she's an MGT, so I'm good. Like we're on the same lane. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's like no spookiness. We're good. Like, it's fine.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I
Yeah. So
love
it
to hear
helps.
that. I love to hear that. All right. Anybody else? Any accomplishments that anybody else want to share? Let's see. Accomplishments that I have not shared already. Um, hmm. I think I may have mentioned before the nonprofit that I have, Cultural Light Center. Cultural Light Center is a nonprofit that deals with children and young adults as it relates to um, artistic expression, music, dance, the arts. And I use the arts to help them to manage their spiritual gifts. So Cultural Light Center is somewhat, it's like a spiritual school. So they usually come to me either because their parents feel like they have anxiety and they're not as focused, or the children feel like this earth is dumb and I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't like it here. And a lot of our children are experiencing it. And a lot of times, if we don't get them in enough time, when they are 18, 19, 20, depending on their case, some of them actually end up committing suicide because they can't find their place here on the planet. And nobody has taught them how to tap into their spiritual gifts and how to use them. And so that is, I'm very clear that that is a part of my assignment. It's something that I went through as well. I always laugh about it now. My parents must have thought that I was a very, very weird child because it seems like as soon as I could talk, I was expressing how I was not from here. I just kept telling them, like, I'm not from here and I don't want to be here. This is like, why y'all do the stuff y'all do here? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I was ready to be like, deuces. I don't know if somebody tricked me to come to this planet or what happened, but I am not here for this foolishness that y'all doing right now. And thank Allah, let's see, I came in the nation at 19 years old. And so even with that, and I won't get into that now because I know this isn't that type of session. I go more into that in the whole, like the spiritual part of the school, but the one, like the one that we know as Master Fard Muhammad, I knew him even when I was a child, before I even came into Islam, in the plains and all of that. So I felt at home. I was like, oh, okay, this is a decent place. I guess, I hang around for a little bit. And then I really came into my purpose. I actually met another spiritual teacher who I call her my spiritual teacher. The minister is my spiritual father, but I've studied under other spiritual teachers and masters as it relates to my gifts. And so doing that put me in alignment to my purpose. Then my purpose became very clear. And so now a part of my assignment is to help those children to be like, hey, you're not, this child really does not have anxiety. The anxiety is the out of alignment to its aim and purpose on the planet right now. So you have to understand that a lot of these children are made for a time that we're not in yet. And so they're frustrated that we're not in that time yet. And so I help them to develop those gifts. So that's one of the things that I'm very happy about, that I finally got that assignment done. Um, what else?
Is that in person?
It has not been in person yet. Every time I try to, well, no, I've had two in person. I've had two in person.
But
Um,
you are willing to do it. So like if I have someone here that's interested in something like that.
I do them divine guidance. So what I do is tune in and then I ask the questions if this is indeed my student. Because
Okay.
those that are assigned to me know that they are assigned to me.
Okay. Can
So
we talk about it later?
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have some granddaughters I wanna, well, we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it usually comes to me just like that. Um, and I tell you, they give me hope. They really give me hope. A lot of them, their abilities are like way even past mine. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with them? Their abilities are like way past mine. Uh,
Yes, ma'am. And I'm reason why I say that I think I told you one time before about one of my grandchildren, one of my granddaughters. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I gave the baby a beaded bracelet, and
mhm,
the middle granddaughter took the bracelet because it had stones on it. Well, come to find out, she's attracted to crystals, and I had no idea. Out of all the stones and crystals that I have, she's like, I really like stones. I really like those stones. I said, what stones? She said, I be seeing people with stones, and she was just talking to me about the bracelet and stuff like that. And I took a picture of all my crystals and stones, and she like got really really excited, and it kind of like made me nervous but happy at the same time because I was like, what is it you know about them? She said, I just know that they are so beautiful. Every time I see them, I just want them. So I was like, oh, okay. So I couldn't respond to that because I had so many and I didn't know what she was feeling about it.
mhm.
And I wouldn't, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't know how to address it, but to see a 13-year-old like that excited about stones, and she's never been to a stone store, but she told me the next time you go buy some, I want to go with you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. They usually know if you ask them a couple of questions, it'll bring it out for them. Like asking them how do they feel with certain crystals, what's their interest in crystals, because usually they have a drive, like they have something that's driving them to a particular thing or a particular ability. They just
Mm,
need somebody to help them to kind of realize this is what it is and then how to help them open and manage it. So I know all of you that I can see, Sister Stacy, Sister Ada, and you, Sister Maria, are familiar with energy. So you know if your crown is like way, way open and your root and sacral is way, way closed, then you can become imbalanced. And a
mm,
lot of times we're seeing a lot of that. But
mm,
it's not that they're crazy or something, their energy is off. They need
mm.
to be balanced out. And a lot of these children's chakras are like way, way
Yes,
open.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Because they were made for another time. And so we have to be about helping to bring that time in for them. And so I'm honored that I was given that task to do. Okay, struggles. I think we talked about this a little bit, but any thoughts? What are something that you are still kind of struggling with that you may need some support?
Um, still, okay. So I discovered by studying myself, I have several different talents that are all beginning at the beginning stage. And so I'm still struggling with decision. Which one am I going to go with to start that off and then move on to the next thing? So I'm still indecisive. I still, my confidence with each one is because I'm still self-taught and a beginner and with a lot of things. So it's basically decision and confidence with going forward, because there's people who just, okay, I can make this piece right here. Let me go start a business to sell that piece. And I'm like, okay, but did you learn all the different, ways it could, yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to know every single thing, but I just think I need to be a little bit more before I just jump out there and. So it's indecision and confidence so far.
Okay. Well, I don't have to be the only person that's speaking. Does anybody want to address what Sister Stacy said?
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna just take advice from this lady with superpower. Not gonna say her name, but
Oh, I can't hear.
don't
Did anybody
do.
freeze?
Say it again. I didn't hear.
I'm sorry,
go
I
ahead,
couldn't hear
Sister.
anything. It froze.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay.
we were frozen for her for a
I was
minute.
gonna say, I don't know how this advice gonna go, but I know you have many gifts and talents that you say you're just tapping into or just getting to. Just pick one or two and just work with those until you like completely master that, and then add on something. Like, don't get overwhelmed with all of your gifts and talents. That's what I would say. I don't know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You do know that was wonderful, Sister Maria. I told her about that. Stop that language of I don't know. Yes, you really
You do know.
do.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
really do know.
Because I got like 5 I'm rolling with right now.
The only thing that I would add to that, Sister Stacy, it depends on how you receive information. So for me, everything is spiritual, everything is energy, and in this hour should be aligned to aim and purpose. So you as a spiritual being, whatever that aim and purpose is. So I usually advise people to do a few things. One is step away from information. So what I mean by that is, social media, any place where information is coming into you, cut that information off and then go within, right? Because a lot of times some of our indecisiveness and confusion is coming because we have too much outside information coming in. And then we're confused on all of this information that's coming in. So that's one thing. The second thing is, as it relates to confidence, you have all the confidence you need. If your mind came up with it, then you have the capacity to bring it about, right? You just have to decide, make a decision on something. Now, for me and for most creatives and those who are empaths and those who are spiritual readers, what we see typically is the entire picture. Like we see the finished product, which makes it difficult because you're like, okay, do I take that?
Yes.
It's a gift but a curse at the same time. So since everything is energy, and remember, Mother Tynetta taught us time is spiral, right? It already exists. This is why you see the entire picture, because it already exists. So usually what I have to do in this situation, I go ahead and bring the whole picture. I look at the entire picture. And then I ask the energy and the frequency of what built this picture is to send me the first task, like the first thing that brings about this entire picture. I ask it to come forth and light itself up for me so I can see it. So what happens is in this 3D reality, that thought will come, or the next opportunity will be the first thing that you need to do that'll lead to the next thing that will lead to the next thing. So that's what it is.
Okay.
A lot of us, we see the entire picture, and you just need to ask the energy to pull just the next step. Just pull the next step and let me do that, right? But when you're building a business, you do it that way because you have to build horizontal first, right? Horizontal is your foundation. So you're building the horizontal and then you go vertical, if that makes sense. So for me, Sacred Love Academy or Sacred Love Lifestyle, I had already seen the entire picture, right? It was a national brand. I had products and services. I had classes. I had this nonprofit organization that dealt with this part of it. So imagine me at the very beginning looking at this entire picture and see, and what other people, from someone looking in, they're like, this girl is confused. She over here, she over there, she doing this. But all of these are a part of this conglomerate, this huge thing.
Yes.
But the thing is, I'm the only one that sees the picture.
Yes.
I'm the only person that sees the picture. So everybody else is like, what is she doing? So I had to learn how to ask questions. I had to learn to say, oh, okay, just give me the next step. Just show me what that is. And then I could see, oh, okay, the nonprofit does belong there, but you have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4 before you can go vertical and come up with the nonprofit, right? So from maybe 5 years ago, when I did this, when this whole thing came to my mind, I am just now doing the deal where my clothing that says sacred and my products, all that my branding, it's just now coming about. So I like to share that with people because I wrecked my brain 5 years ago trying to figure out why I couldn't get this thing that I envisioned in my mind. Like, why can't I produce it? Because I was taking step S and step T when I was at step A. So try that.
Yes.
So
And
try that.
That's right, because I see the whole thing with the forks and the vibration and the color therapy and the clothing and like everything is right there. And I'm like, okay, where am I going? How do I
Yeah.
get there?
Yeah.
So
Just
thank you,
ask for the
ma'am. Yes.
first step. All right. Anybody else? Oh, y'all are good. If them y'all only struggles.
I think Sister Allison, you pretty much like with my struggle, this Sister Ada, my struggles like is pretty much similar to Sister Stacy's.
Okay.
But I think the only one that I did want to add, because you pretty much answered it all with what you said, but sometimes with consistency is for me, like emotional consistency. I feel like sometimes my hormones start like going out of balance sometimes, and that's where my lack of confidence will come in and say like, you might need to read this other book or like look at this other lecture, like just make sure you're completely prepared, when I really have it all in my mind and I'm just like self-doubting myself. So those are the things that I kind of like started to overcome towards the end of 2021, and I just want to continue that in 2022 with that. It's just like that consistency. Like I just want to make sure that I keep the momentum going.
Okay, right. I'm surprised that husband doesn't keep you on task. Normally they're like,
sometimes.
and that's another thing with healers and empaths, we tend to do that. So what helps for me is writing it down and putting myself on a tight schedule and holding myself accountable. So for example, if you don't, you should have an accountability partner, all right? If you don't have a coach, I always got a coach because I know me. You as a spiritual teacher or someone whose mind can be in China if I want to, I'll indulge myself with just sitting right here in this seat and visiting somewhere else. And I can do that and be totally satisfied, right? But I won't get nothing accomplished in this reality. I won't be getting accomplished. So for us, when we want to pull things into this reality, you have to write them down. I think I went over that in the manifestation class that we did. You have to
Okay.
write them down and you have to hold yourself accountable. So for me, it's at the end of the day. Like I've learned that God likes speed. So whatever task I have, I try to get them done quickly. That's the only way I catch momentum. And then I'm way ahead of my goals. So now this helped me. So for example, shorten your time. So if you would say, oh, okay, to finish this goal would take me 3 months, right? How about if you tried to finish this goal in 3 weeks?
Mm,
So if you knew you
that
had to
makes sense.
finish it in 3 weeks, you're going to get on it.
Yes.
And having an accountability partner helps you to do that. So I'm coming out with something later on in the year, and this is something you all can do right now, right? So it's called the blueprint. You write down who the ideal Ada, Maria, Stacy, who is that, right? And then you have to show up as her. But you can't let time go by, right? It's like a puzzle piece in building you. You're building you. So you determine in your mind who you are, the ideal you, and what does she look like? So somebody give me an example of an ideal you. What does she look like?
Um,
Come
she
on with
is,
it.
she is, you know I will. She is, she has long flowing locks. I like my locks. um, and she is smaller. Maria is smaller than she is, not very, very, very small, but smaller, like a average, whatever, so-called average size female. Um, and she loves to work out. She loves to work out, and she loves being outside. Do I need to
Okay.
add more? What else I need to add?
Okay, so what I got is she fit and fine with long hair. Is that that's pretty much who she is? Okay, we'll go with that. She fit and fine with long hair. Okay,
She's healthy. She's
healthy.
healthy.
She's fit
Yeah.
and healthy, right? So that's the ideal. So now you have to work backwards, right? So let's say it took you 3 months to be healthy, fit, fine with long hair.
Hmm.
So we take those 3 months and break them into months, month one, month two, month three, and then we get month one into 4 weeks, right?
Okay.
In order to, at the end of 3 months, to be fit, fine, healthy with long hair, what are the tasks that have to be done in week one? Like, what does she have to do to already be fit with long hair?
Okay. She would the long hair is already accomplished. It's just up. I'm just waiting for my hair to finish locking.
It's gonna be longer though. It's gonna be
Yeah,
like,
it's I have to continue to keep it in the styles because my hair texture is a little different. So I have to keep it up in my style because if not, it'll unravel. So I have to keep that maintained, um, as well as get a good, I would say, start working out. I would say start walking X amount of days per week for the first week and commit and hold myself accountable for walking those 3 days, or I said 3 or 4 days a week. Um, and make sure I stay on healthy habits, keep my healthy habits, like keep continue to drink my water, continue to eat healthy things.
Okay. So an exercise regimen and a eating habits, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then you have to start breaking those down into daily activities. Eating habits to be fit, fine, healthy with long hair. On Monday, I would have to eat what? And
My
we'll
one
just
meal,
do Monday. Okay.
eat my 1 meal a day.
One meal a day that is of what?
Cabbage, brown rice, and some baked salmon
Okay.
and soup.
Okay. And then you would work out and do what?
Walk at least 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes that day. Because we're on Monday, right?
Right. Right. Okay. So here's the thing. There's a couple of reasons why we're writing this down. One, it gives us an accountability. So by the time Sister Maria gets to Friday, if she has not done these things, then she knows right away that the likelihood of her being fit, fine, and healthy with long hair at month 3 is not likely to happen, right?
Mhm.
But she's putting a blueprint forth for her to go in order for her to be this person. So you
Mm.
do this with everything. If you want to, if it's a better mother, a better wife, a better business person, in business with my coaching clients, we break it down. Let's say you want to make $10,000 a month, right? $10,000 a month. Show me the funnel where you got $10,000 that's going to come from, right? So when you look at it like that, you understand that it's not abracadabra. There has to be a blueprint in order for this to happen. And this is the blueprint that I'm going to follow. Does that make
Mhm.
sense
Yes,
to everyone?
yes, ma'am.
So you do that per goal, and this helps you be accountable for yourself. Now, I love accountability partners, one, because they're free, and two, you have somebody that you have spoke out loud and said that this is what you want. And then they're going to be like, well, hey, Maria, you said that you wanted to be healthy, but you eating popcorn with butter while we like, what's up? Like let's go work out. You know,
Right.
somebody that's gonna hold you to that. So, and you can do that with anything. Your spirituality, what would it take for you to show up as the spiritual being? Um, right? Those who that I teach that want to open their spiritual channels. Okay, this is what it takes for you to open your spiritual channels, to be a good reader, um, to open your soul language. This is what you have to do, right? So, oh, well, that was the next thing. How will I hold myself accountable? So these things that I say that I want to accomplish for 2022, how am I going to hold myself accountable for making sure that these things are done?
I hate to be the only one to talk.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
One way that I'm holding myself accountable is I'm doing what you were talking about. I think it was in the manifestation class, in the manifest class, when you were saying scripting. That
Mm-hmm.
helps
Uh,
a lot. Like I was like on it for about a month or so, like every day, and I kind of fell back from it. I don't know why. I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. My grandson came here and it was like throwing me all off or whatever. But I find when I write it out in the morning time, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm writing it out and I know that's what I wrote out and I'm trying to accomplish that or whatever.
mm-hmm.
So that helps me. That kind of makes me accountable for it. And another thing that makes me accountable is I know I have these certain things I need to do. So whenever I meet with you, I know you're gonna ask me about them.
Mhm, mhm.
So that also, so I know, like you say, if I don't have it done on Wednesday, by the time I meet, for instance, on Friday, I know I got to have it done by then.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So definitely, you all, I was telling another sister, I wish I would not have wasted so much time in the beginning of my business without getting a coach, because I wasted a lot of money trying to figure it out myself, and I wasted a lot of time. So I tell anybody, even if you're just starting out in business, if you don't do nothing else, if you don't have the money, get the money, put it aside, invest in a coach, because that is what like propelled me to the next level in my business. So, and if you can't, again, afford a coach, get an accountability partner, someone who's willing to hold you accountable for what you say you want. So, all right. And then the last thing is affirmations. I love it. I write affirmations in the morning, in the afternoon, before I go to bed. I really, really love affirmations. It's almost like the blueprint. You are telling yourself that I am. You are telling I am exactly what it is. And so it's powerful. So, what are some of the affirmations that you are going with for 2022?
I am wealthy.
Mhm.
I am healthy. I'm healthy and fit. I am wealthy. Um, I am a business owner. I'm a successful business owner. That's just three.
Wonderful. I love it. I thought mine was in here. I don't think.
But and I did want to say something when it comes to the struggle thing. I don't know how I didn't. I wrote down it was two things that I was struggling with, and that was learning how I receive my information and learning to show myself more self love and self care.
Okay. And what do you think is what's inhibiting you from doing that?
Um, Probably I'm like always busy with household things or with the baby or me trying to like I was doing online my classes for the two things I was taking. That was within the last 2 months. That's what I would say because I've been taking classes, and that kind of slowed me down a little bit.
Okay. Those sound like excuses, but okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about me. I'm not gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about me. I'm not talking about nobody else on the line either. I'm talking about me. So for me, what I've learned about myself, one, there's different ways that anxiety and unhealed trauma, how they show up in our lives. I know for me, when I am busy, there's something I don't want to confront. Right? There's something about me or a situation around me that I don't want to confront. So I'm gonna be busy. So I don't have to get quiet enough that I really have to confront this thing um, that I need to confront. So look at that and see what really starts to happen when you get really, really quiet. What happens when you get really, really quiet and you have to be with just you? So it's like, can you do that? Now, a lot of us, we have this thing also about fear of success. Some people have fear of failure. Some people have a fear of success. Like, what would that mean if I was really successful? People may not like me. I might outgrow some people. People will look at me. People will judge me. People will say, you know, who does she think she is? People will do this, that, and the other. So some of those things are why we don't allow ourselves to be successful. One of mine that I found from auditing, which I thought was very interesting, it was, and this was a few years ago, but one of my things about being successful that I dare not, right? I was so glad when I blew this Engram, but I dare not be successful because in one of my lifetimes, people plotted against me and actually killed me for my money. So this lifetime, I was still running that like, no, I don't have no money. I don't have nothing. I don't have no money. I don't have no property. I don't have anything that you would have to kill me for. Okay. So it was amazing to me that as a spiritual being, that memory was still there. And I was still running that. So I would not acquire anything because I was afraid that people would plot against me and actually want to take my life. So that's a whole nother conversation. But a lot of us, that's why I love doing discovery calls, because of course, any type of call that I'm doing, my intuition turns on and I'm able to tell people, okay, yeah, you're not successful in that career is because your spirit came to do this thing over here. You're like way out of alignment. And you as a spiritual being is not happy and trying to do everything that it can to put up that red stop sign and say, hey, no, we're not doing that. And some of it is a memory from what you did before, if that makes sense, in another space and time, right? And so because you were good at it then and you still remember how to do it then, you want to implement it in this life and it just doesn't fit anymore. So a lot of that could be happening as well. A lot of people in the wrong career for their spiritual being. That's just not what they came for this particular lifetime. But getting to the bottom of why you're not doing it, right? Like, why won't you? It's the same thing when I have sisters who come to me to release their fibroids. And I give them an eating regimen and I give them practices to do. And I say, do this and don't do that. And they're like, okay, Sister Allison, yep, this is what I'm going to do. And then when we get to our accountability call the next week, and they're like, no, I had sugar all week. I'm like, okay, but on the last call, you said you really wanted these fibroids gone. Like you were like, I am adamant about this. I want these fibroids gone. And yet there's something, and this is just an example, but this is how the mind works. You know that sugar grows fibroids, right? You know that you shouldn't have it, but you will consume it every day. Now, some people will look at that and say, that's a weakness. It's a lack of willpower. But most of the time, that's not what it is at all. It's a self-attack kind of thing. It's a self-hate type of thing. It's a, I don't want to be well. Well, why don't you want to be well? There's a couple of reasons why people don't want to be well. One, they feel like they don't deserve to be well. And two, not consciously, but two, their illness is serving a purpose, right? They call it a secondary advantage, right? Because if I'm sick, people pay attention to me. They show me love. They show me affection. They're like, oh, I want to help you. You're sick? We don't realize that the child within is like, yeah, I'm sick. Can I stay home from school today? Will you hug me and love me and take care of me if I'm sick? I don't know how I got on that, but okay, maybe somebody needed to hear that.
Sister Allison, if I could just add that it's really interesting that you say that, because I did have this kind of like aha moment last year where I was like, I could not say that I was healed because I had gone through chemotherapy and cancer and this stuff, right? But like it was a point last year where I'm like, why can't I say that I'm healed? Like all my lab tests are fine, everything is okay, and I'm eating right, I'm doing the things that I need to do. And I found it so bizarre. But then like what you just said, like I realized that it was the attention, like maybe from like my children or my husband. It's like, wait a minute, I think that this is that, like that's really what's going on. So yeah, I had that aha moment last year, and I was like, no, because I really need to get through this, and I'm like I'm stopping myself to like get complete healing because I don't want to move on from that. I mean, that's how I saw it. And I was just like, wow, that's like really serious. But I was happy that I was able to acknowledge that. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's the first step. Thank you. Thank you so much for being transparent and sharing that with all of us, because that's exactly what we do. The mind is so powerful, because maybe if you had not acknowledged it and it didn't come to your attention, you would duplicate it again. You just bring it back, right? Because, and that's a lot of times why you have people who are, let's say business, right? They can't be multimillionaires, right? Because it's such a gap from what they know. And poverty or a particular, middle class, this is the reference point that I do know. Now you're trying to take me from something that I do know to something that I don't know. And so sometimes even what I know, if it's pain, I'll take the pain because I know that. I'm familiar with that, and it's more comfortable than going into the unknown. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we got to get these affirmations down. I am safe. I am secure. I am confident. Um, I am clear on my intentions. I have, what am I? I have $1 million plans and I execute them, right? These are some of the affirmations that I have for myself, right? I have several investment properties that bring me massive passive income. I am a best-selling author. I'm a six-figure coach. I am whatever you can think of, get those affirmations going. And those that was in the manifestation class, I gave you the formula for manifestation. So write those down every single morning, like go through that. And before you know it, those elements that are in the atmosphere will start configuring themselves to be exactly what you have instructed them to be.
Woo, you sent chills up my spine. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, that's it. We have the power. We have the power. So I am going to stop share. All right, y'all. We were on, I said an hour. We're a little bit over an hour. But are there any questions or that you all have for me before we close out? So those that are in the membership, we have some new people here that may not know about the membership. So to be a part of the Sacred Love community, the one that's on the Think If It site, is $19.97 a month. And in that membership, you get the recording from the Sister Circle. You get the call that we do for the full moon, and then the call that we do for the new moon, and then the recipes and everything that we do each month. On the 21st, we will be doing the 10-day challenge. And what the 10-day challenge is, we'll be doing a challenge for spiritual self-care, self-love, and self-empowerment. So what that consists of, we'll have a particular diet that we'll ask everybody to do. And I tell everybody to do the best that you can as it relates to the detox that we'll be doing. Of course, it will be based on the diet of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And those of you who have followed me for a while, even if you're a Christian, you know what that diet is. Most of you all eat what it is that we eat, but we will not be having any meat. So if you are a meat eater, that's a part of the detox that we will not have any. So I'm looking forward to that. You get that as a part of the membership as well. So, but I think what I'm going to do, because it's been a while since we've had the Sister Circle, even if you're not a part of the Sacred Love community, I'm going to send you the recording for this. So everyone who registered for this, you will have this recording. It'll be in your email, along with the link in case you want to come over to the other community with us. So any other questions? And you guys, one other thing I know, remind you for those who may not have been in here, I'm also going to ask you if you prefer to have this on a Saturday or a Sunday, afternoon or evening. And if you would please just answer that and send it back to me, and then we'll go with whatever the majority rule is. If it's the first Sunday of the month, if I don't get somebody else to do it, it'll fall on the second, because I'll be in the Bahamas. I have a mastermind class in the Bahamas with a great set of beautiful women. So I won't be able to conduct it next month on that first Saturday. But I miss this so much. I really, really miss you all. So maybe we'll do it the second Saturday or Sunday instead. So we'll see. So if there's no questions or comments, we will go ahead and close out. Where is Maria?
Yes, ma'am.
No questions, Maria? What? I didn't think so.
Oh, not offhand, but I can think of one. You know, I
Oh,
can.
don't make up nothing. It's all right. It is
Yeah.
all right. All right. Love you all. You all always, most of you already have my my number or my email address, so you know you can always reach out to me if you come up with something, or hit me in my DMs of something that I did not address. I'm gonna do a live, I think tomorrow, because I did get a lot of people in my DM to ask me different ways to deal with anxiety. So I am gonna do an Instagram live on that, and I'll send that in an email as well. All right.
Yeah, anxiety is real.
Yeah.